The world was told the Strait of Hormuz was closed, shut by a silent carpet of Iranian sea mines, a $40 billion chokehold on 20% of the planet's oil. Tehran called it the last card, the one weapon even the B-2 could not disarm. But the US just did something brilliant to Iran's invincible minefield. And it has completely rewritten the math of the Persian Gulf. For 6 weeks, during Operation Epic Fury, Iranian small boats slipped out of Bandar Abbas under the cover of darkness, scattering Maham 3 moored mines and Maham 7 bottom mines across the 21 nautical mile-wide waterway. U.S. intelligence counted the ships. Centcom analysts counted the sortie patterns. And the final assessment, cross-referenced by satellite and signals intelligence, pointed to a number the Revolutionary Guard thought was unassailable, roughly 1,800 mines. Against that wall, the U.S. Navy committed just 3 surface minesweepers in the opening phase. 3 ships, against 1,800 weapons. The IRGC was told the math was finally on their side. They were wrong. Because while Tehran counted hulls, the Pentagon was counting something else entirely. There is a secret buried in the physics of modern mine warfare, a truth so uncomfortable that Iranian admirals are now scrambling to hide it from their own command. A truth that turns 1,800 mines into a liability instead of a shield. Did Iran just build the world's largest sea denial weapon? Or did they accidentally build the world's largest underwater coffin for their own strategy? In February 2026, when Operation Epic Fury opened with coordinated United States and Israeli strikes, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy activated a plan rehearsed for over a decade. Small fiberglass dhows, each carrying 6 to 12 mines, fanned out from Qisham Island and Larak. The Maham 3 is a moored contact mine, a Soviet-era design updated with Iranian acoustic sensors. The Maham 7 is the more dangerous cousin, a bottom mine that rests on the seabed at depths of up to 100 meters, waking only when a tanker's magnetic and pressure signature passes directly overhead. Together, they were meant to form a kill web, one the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps called impossible to clear in under 18 months. The logic seemed airtight. The Strait of Hormuz is only 96 meters deep at its shallowest point, but it is wide. A mine in a channel 21 miles wide demands that sweepers travel thousands of square kilometers at a crawl, each pass covering only a narrow corridor. Iranian planners, trained on the 1980s tanker war doctrine, calculated that a team of 3 ships would need, at minimum, 14 months to clear the field. By then, they assumed the political cost to Washington would have collapsed the coalition. Global oil prices would spike. Allies would fracture. Tehran would negotiate from strength. Every mine, at a unit cost of roughly $12,000 to $18,000, was framed as an asymmetric masterstroke against a navy that spends $2 billion per destroyer. On paper, the arithmetic was devastating. 1,800 mines at $15,000 each, $27 million total, to pin down a fleet worth north of $25 billion, a 1,000-to-1 cost exchange in Iran's favor. State broadcaster IRIB repeated the phrase strategic ceiling through March. The Revolutionary Guard Navy Command declared the strait closed to military vessels. They renewed that claim this week, vowing to deal severely with any warship attempting transit. But this entire calculation rested on a single hidden assumption: that the U.S. would fight the 1988 war. That Washington would send the same slow wooden-hulled Avenger-class sweepers, tow the same mechanical sweep gear, and run the same linear grid pattern Iranian doctrine was built to defeat. That assumption just collapsed. If you want to understand how, take a second right now and subscribe, because what the U.S. Navy deployed on April 11th is the beginning of a new doctrine, and the next 3 minutes explain why Tehran's last card is already burning. On April 11, 2026, Centcom Commander Admiral Brad Cooper announced that the USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy, 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, had transited the Strait of Hormuz. They were not the minesweepers. They were the forward sensor layer, a moving wall of ANSLQ-25 Nixie decoys and SPY-6 radar, providing real-time overhead protection. Behind them came the actual clearance architecture, and this is where Iranian math fell apart. The 3 ships the Pentagon quietly committed to the sweep were not traditional sweepers at all. They are motherships, and each one carries a swarm. Those swarms use 3 platforms: the Knifefish unmanned undersea vehicle, the Barracuda expendable mine neutralizer, and the Remus 600 autonomous underwater drone. All 3 platforms were confirmed by Centcom to be joining the clearance effort in the coming days. Each mothership can deploy between 6 and 12 autonomous drones simultaneously. 3 ships suddenly become a fleet of 30 to 36 searching hulls. The human crew never enters the minefield. The drones do. Here is where the physics of the engagement rewrites the clock. A knifefish runs a side-scan sonar search grid at 4 knots, covering roughly 2.5 square kilometers per hour per unit. 30 units running in parallel cover 75 square kilometers per hour. The full suspected minefield, based on U.S. intelligence estimates of IRGC deployment patterns, spans approximately 1,400 square kilometers. The raw sweep time is not 14 months. It is under 20 operational hours of active scanning, spread across a week of launch, recovery, and analysis cycles. Admiral Cooper's statement about establishing a new passage soon was not diplomatic theater. It was a timeline. Then comes the neutralization. Once a knifefish logs a mine signature and cross-references it against the known Maham 3 and Maham 7 acoustic libraries, a Barracuda is launched. The Barracuda is a one-way expendable drone. It swims to the target at 6 knots, confirms the classification with its own sonar, attaches a shaped charge, and detonates. Unit cost is roughly $75,000. Kill probability per engagement is above 90%. The math of attrition flips in a single afternoon. Iran spent $27 million laying the field. The US spends $135 million clearing it. But the key number is not the spend. It is the ratio of risk. Not one American sailor enters the water. Not one crewed hull crosses an armed mine. The asymmetry Tehran designed has been transferred, intact, back onto the seabed. The historical pattern matters here because it shows the Pentagon did not invent this doctrine last week. During 1987, Operation Earnest Will took place in the same strait, against the same enemy. The U.S. Navy lost the frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts to a single Iranian M08 mine. The hull was nearly cut in half. The response then was Operation Praying Mantis, a surface gun battle. It was effective, but crude. By 2003, in the northern Persian Gulf, Navy EOD teams cleared Iraqi mines using Mark 8 marine mammal systems, trained dolphins, a method that was slow and operationally brittle. By 2020, the knifefish entered initial operational capability. By 2024, the Barracuda program reached low-rate production. Every step of this 37-year arc was visible. Every step was published in Naval Institute journals. Iranian planners had access to all of it. They chose to rely on a doctrine built for a navy that no longer exists. Inside the Iranian command structure, the panic is now audible in what is not being said. Tehran publicly denied the April 11th transit, with IRIB claiming no American vessel entered the strait. Satellite imagery from Planet Labs captured both destroyers inside the waterway. The denial is not for external audiences, it is for internal ones. If the strait can be transited, the wall of 1,800 mines is porous. That means the leverage the Revolutionary Guard has staked the entire Hormuz negotiation on, currently being discussed in Islamabad by Vice President J.D. Vance and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, is gone. There is one last layer the IRGC did not model. The underwater drones do not just clear mines. They map them. Every Maham 7 neutralized produces a forensic record, serial numbers, fuse configuration, sensor tuning. After the operation concludes, the U.S. Navy will possess the most complete intelligence file on Iranian naval mine production ever assembled outside Iran. Every future Iranian mine design will have to be redrawn from scratch. Tehran's 14-year multi-billion-dollar mine warfare program is not just being defeated, it is being harvested. The broader strategic stakes close the loop. Roughly 20 million barrels of oil per day transit this strait in peacetime. Even a partial reopening, which Admiral Cooper has signaled will come within weeks, is enough to collapse the pressure on global energy markets that Tehran has tried to weaponize. Brent crude has already softened by more than 6% on the transit announcement alone. The financial lever Iran spent a decade building is gone in a news cycle. Policy analysts at CSYS have noted that a full reopening would mark the first clean U.S. strategic victory over Iranian gray zone warfare since 1988. 3 Minesweeper motherships, 1,800 mines, 30 drones in the water, 2 destroyers on the surface, 1 admiral announcing a new passage. The math Tehran bet the war on was not even the correct equation. They calculated ships when they should have counted swarms. They measured tons when they should have measured autonomy. They planned for a navy that retired a generation ago. Today, the balance of Hormuz pivots not on brute force, but on the silent mastery of autonomy and sensor fusion. American strategy turns Iran's last strategic card into a cleanup operation measured in weeks, not years. A checkmate in real time. In this era, dominance is decided by those who count the right numbers. That is the true brilliance at work.